first thing we want to do is create a LiveKit account. Here, I'll hit the Try LiveKit button. From there, I'll sign in with my Google, and that's absolutely fine. Here, I'll name the app Full Stack Easy, and I'll hit continue. Now, it'll ask me how big is my company. I'm going to say that we're medium size. As far as our website, fullstackeasy.com. This will allow you to deploy voice AI agents at the speed of light. Here, we're going to go ahead and say software engineering, infrastructure, DevOps. No, I love LiveKit, although PipeCat is really good. Here, let's say OpenAI, but we may use Claude 3.75, or it might just be 3.7. I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyways, now we're going to do mobile, web, IoT, gaming, video conference, AI agent. Additional information. I'm building a voice AI agent to change the world. Well, let me make sure. All right, for the better. Awesome, let's go. Now, why am I interested in LiveKit? Ease of integration, power and flexibility, scale and performance, reputation, or recommendation. Dr. Fullstack has recommended it to you. Here, you guys are going to say YouTube because my channel is where you learned it. And if you could click other and write Dr. Fullstack, I'd love you. Here, we'll submit. Awesome. So now what we have here on our dashboard is the actual authentication. This is the URL that we use for the WebSocket to connect to LiveKit's WebSocket so that we have that low latency over Google's UDP, but I digress. I don't want to go over there just yet. Here, we can try sandboxes, and that will allow us to test our voice AI agents pretty quickly. We'll go over that because sometimes people get a little confused during this part. Other than that, we have egress, which egress and ingresses. This will be important when you're trying to get the recording from those tracks for your voice AI agent, or maybe you just want to use LiveKit so you can set up your own Zoom app. That's also possible. Let me know in the comments if you want a tutorial on how to do that. Here, let's head over to settings. Now I'm going to let you see my credentials because I'm going to destroy everything. But if you do want to hack me, I'm doing this for the people. So here we have the project name. We've got my project URL. We've got the SIP URI, which is not important right now. Admins can remotely unmute tracks, allow pausing videos when subscribers are ingressed. All right, so I don't want you to feel like you're drinking from a fire hose, so I'm going to get right to it. Here are the keys. Now, you need these keys so that you can essentially interact with LiveKit. If you click on it there, it gives you more information. Here, we have our entire environment variables. Now, where am I going to need that? I'm going to need that right here. So this is the backend agent. And if you want this code, head over to my Discord. I'll give you the code. If I hit paste here, we'll see that they didn't paste in my entire secret, but I'll go ahead and get the rest of that. And then I'm going to have to put in my OpenAI key. Now that I'm not going to show you guys. Here, let's get the rest of that secret. Awesome. And don't worry, it's not like one of those situations where if you don't like paste it there, you'll never see it again. You can always go back to that screen and you'll be able to see your secret. Here, we've got the OpenAI API key, and let's make sure that my other applications also have these same credentials. So this is the LiveKit backend worker. Think of this as the actual agent that'll be speaking with your customers, and you're going to configure this on the backend. Here, we've got the front end. So this is literally the interface that your customers will be speaking with. I'll paste that there. And you don't really need your OpenAI key here. And the reason why is because the front end is not instantiating that connection with OpenAI. It's your backend worker agent that's doing that. So really simple for the front end setup. Now, another thing you're going to have to set up is the token server. In order for your front end to talk to the agent. And whenever I say front end, just think of your customer. Okay, your customer is speaking to a screen. They're going to see some orb or some type of interface that lets them know that they're speaking to an agent. Okay, so that front end is going to be speaking to the backend agent. The backend agent is responsible for the customization of your agent, how it speaks. Is its name Ella? Is its name Stella? Is its name Dr. Fullstack? Well, that is your backend agent. Now, it might have function calling where it can order Uber rides, book flights, even a book a vacation, right? Your agent is however you want to customize that, and that's the worker I was speaking about. Now, in order for your client to talk to your backend worker, it's going to need permission. That way, no one's abusing your agent and everyone's just speaking to it. It's like people cold calling your secretary. Is that what you want? No. So we're going to give it a token. That token is going to allow it the permission to actually speak to that agent in the backend. And the backend is going to check that token and say, all right, is this person authorized? Okay, yep, this token looks good. And the connection will be established. So at this point, how do we actually get that token? Well, we can set up the token server. So this token server is the last place where I'll set up these credentials. And at this point, we're in good shape. So what we can do here now is essentially set all of these to their proper names. As you notice, they all said .env.example. So we want to actually set that to either .env or .env.local. So here, I'm just going to put .env. And lastly, for the front end, we'll put .env. Now, I'm going to make sure that the actual code matches those environment variables, but pretty much that should be most of what you're trying to do. Now, let me go and get my OpenAI keys because that's important, and I'll be right back.